Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, shall we? And I'll see if I can make some more videos about other altcoins, because Bitcoin dominance is still coming down, unbelievably, but it is still happening. So with that said, I think it's only fair that we do revisit some of these other tokens that we like to look at. But for the moment, let's just have a look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin actually, as much as I was saying, I do expect further downside, which I still do, doesn't mean that I'm expecting a full-on retracement or anything like that. The idea being is that, yes, we've had a nice bounce, but I would not be surprised to see if we come down to this level, or even this level, 45,000. Really wouldn't be surprised at that at all. And the way to work this one out is to establish how strong the base is. Every time we make a next stab up, we reclaim these moving averages. So far on the daily, we've reclaimed all of them. And reclaiming them is one aspect, but the 20 simple, or basically the centre of the Bollinger Band, is still facing down. So it will act as a support. But the support, for the next few days, if we stay above it, it's still going to be facing down, and then it'll level out and then eventually sort of move up and be more of a stable base for us to then start to consider this to be a sustainable uptrend. For the moment, it's simply reclaimed these zones. And, I've seen this many times with all kinds of assets. And we use the Bollinger Band strategy as a very basic way to trade. But, at the moment, we've reclaimed all of these, and it would appear that there is a support there. But it wouldn't take a great deal for it to come down. I mean, you could fit a Rizzler paper between these two price action and there. It's less than it's basically about 0.5% from where we're at right now. Not particularly looking especially strong right now, although we are above those moving averages, so hopefully they'll turn to support. So the daily is going to have it, but also the daily does have a very long-standing bearish divergence, which does lend itself to an actual full-on proper breakdown of formation before it then starts to recover, basically wiping out this entire bearish divergence and getting it sorted, fixing it for good, and getting us ready for a new sustainable uptrend. For the moment, what it looks like to me is that we're holding on for dear life to the uptrend that we've been in for 6, 7, 8 months now, and we're unwilling to give that up, despite having these warning signs across the board. We're unwilling to give it up. Religiously buying the dips, which is fine, but yeah, I mean, I'm not yet convinced until we take out the previous, I suppose, what should have been support up here, $60,000. Anyway, 4 hourly also looks okay to me. Reclaimed all the moving averages. The death cross played out, and now looks like it wants to recover. Obviously, when this does make a cross, it will be considered a golden cross. Whether or not that's a golden cross that's worth playing is a different story altogether, because it's only a 4 hourly time frame. It's not like we're recovering from a bear market or anything like that. Yes, it's strength, it's good, it's divergence for moving averages, getting themselves into position, the most appropriate positions they should be. But as for playing it as an actual cross and expecting a great deal from it, at this stage, I wouldn't be particularly willing to say that that's okay. Look, I don't want to be labelled as a perma-bear. I've a lot of people leaving comments calling me all kinds of names, actually, on the previous videos. Look, the chart is how it is. If I'm willing to practice a certain strategy, which is being cautious, that's fine. There's no point in me doing 10, 20, 30, 40 X's in a 6 to 8 month period for me to kind of lose that because I wasn't treating the warning signs appropriately. And there are warning signs. We've got warning signs on the weekly here. We've got bearish divergence on the weekly. That's a warning sign. We've got bearish divergence on the daily that we've already seen. We've also got bearish divergence on the 3 daily. We've got bearish divergence everywhere. And so that's what I was saying to people on the live stream last night. As much as I'm very optimistic about Bitcoin for the rest of this year, but making a new all-time high this year, which I definitely am, and I'm talking about more than just an all-time high. I'm talking edging up and close to and above and slightly beyond $100,000 by the end of this year. That is more than conceivable, but it doesn't mean that it has to do it right away. And a lot of people have probably never seen a downtrend for Bitcoin, and they're unaware or maybe, I suppose, just resistant to change, that Bitcoin can do anything other than dips and recovers. This, although it being it looks worse, but it's a smaller dip than this one was. It's also a break of structure. This one hadn't broken structure. We were supported on the green 50. This one, unfortunately, broke straight through it, like it really didn't care about that whatsoever. A bit more nasty than anything we've seen in a long time. And because of that, it actually, the structure broke to form a lower low. And this one could technically still be considered a lower high. I mean, it is obviously a lower high, but it's in a place now where it could actually be okay. If it did break down below the center of this Bollinger Band again, though, I would be looking for these lows to be retested, and maybe even this low here, which I'd be more interested in, about 45,000, coming in at where all these supports were, and also more or less where the 20 weekly moving averages. So as of making this video right now, we do appear to be okay. It's like I say, there's very little between this support and price action right now, and less than 1%. If we break down and close below that center of that Bollinger Band, I would be concerned. And also the 4-hourly's got a little bit more leeway, ever so slightly, to the 200 exponential moving average, about 1.5%, bringing us to about 55,800. It's pretty much horizontal at the moment with a bit of an uptick to it, so yeah, we've got a little bit more leeway on the 4-hourly, but again, breaking down below there and closing below there would be even worse, and that would, in my opinion, cause continuation. For the moment, I'm very undecided in the very short-term time frames, and if I really had to make a guess, I'd probably expect us to actually perform in a sideways move, sideways range, which would lend itself definitely to a continuation of altcoins, which is why I'm going to make some more videos about altcoins, because if we do go sideways, which it looks to me like we might do, even if it's just if it's sideways and down for another month or two, then altcoins do, honestly, they should benefit from such indecision from Bitcoin, because altcoins have been rallying even more despite Bitcoin obviously pumping but not recovering yet. It's not recovered. So, I mean, at the end of the day, in summary for this video, yeah, things are looking good in the very, very short-term time frames, but it's on thin ice. It's very, very thin ice, and it wouldn't take much. And the day's not done. We have closed, one candle body above the center of the Bollinger Band yesterday, but we've come down to test it. It's got a down tick on it. It's sloping down, which means that the supports for the moment, if we're not going to continue to rally from here, the supports will get lower and lower and lower each time. And as they get lower over the next few days, it would only be days. It would mean that we could easily come down to this level and then below it. So, like I say, it's thin ice. I would like to see us continue with an uptrend, of course I would, but I'm also being very cautious with the bearish divergence across the board, and the fact that we are very early days in confirming supports, relative supports that could then lead to a continuation of the move up. So cautiousness is my preferred strategy at this point. I did not, and I do not want to see all the gains that I've made, over this last, to be honest, even over the last 3 or 4 months, get taken taken for a spin. I'd like to bank some of those, which I've already done, leave some of it riding, which I already am, and just wait for a confirmation that we are going to have more of an uptrend. And then you play into the strength. You don't play into indecision. That's like Russian roulette. And I think this is what a lot of people take offense to when they watch these videos, and they think I'm actually calling for it to be bearish. I'm not particularly calling for it to be bearish. When you're having a change of direction like this, and when structure has broken, you really do have to be defensive of your own portfolio balance. There's no point in blindly holding on to things if there's warning signals and signs telling you that there might be a downtrend. So in that respect, it's time to, I already have, bank some serious profit, leave some riding, because there is indecision there. So if it goes up, that's fine. I'm not completely out of the game, but I have definitely taken more profit recently than I've done for a very long time. And I'm very grateful for a lot of this bouncing as well, which has allowed me to ride those dips. The buying into the altcoins has always been the preferred strategy for any kind of buying the dip when Bitcoin dominance is so low. So that has worked out really well. So buying those altcoin dips, especially with the stronger charts. So the strategy is still working, even if it's just to buy dips and sell. Buy dips and sell. And even if this is a downtrend, we could consider it to be a downtrend. We've still made between 30 to 50%, on this bounce across the board with altcoins. So it's looking pretty good in that respect, but definitely do not want to be holding on to things unnecessarily. Bounces are great, bounces are good, but if they are only bounces, you don't want to see your gains get eradicated on the next lower low. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there, but thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.